Okay, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be doing a review on the new Sony ULT Field 5. In front of me here, obviously the slightly smaller version of the ULT Field 7, which was released a couple months ago. So they've released this along with the ULT Field 3, if I remember correctly, which is the slightly smaller version of this. Which I'll obviously do a review and a current comparison with this kind of side-by-side sound test. So if you're looking out for that, then give a subscribe to the channel, wait a couple days. That will be going up, as I do have that here with me as well. But yeah, we'll go through the specs, give it a sound test, and I'll let you know what I think of the Field 5. So retails for £260, brand new from the Sony store at the moment, as of basically day one, which isn't too awful. You know, Sony's a premium name, it's quite a big speaker. Yeah, we've got quite a lot of features and kind of things going on here, so it doesn't sound too awful off the bat. We've got one woofer, which is 79mm by 102mm, and they're the kind of standard Sony X square design, which they say gives it kind of more area and a bit more of a balanced sound with better bass. I can't speak for the actual science behind that, but the speakers sound good, so we aren't complaining. We've got two tweeters, which are 46mm each. And that's it in regards to drivers, so we don't have any kind of mid-range or anything like that. We've just got woofer, two tweeters, but we'll see. That's a relatively standard setup. Weight-wise, this is 3.3 kilos, and you can see it's quite hefty. You know, this is quite a big speaker. It comes with this nice shoulder strap on top, which is obviously quite nice to help you carry this around. I do prefer that rather than having like a kind of almost like a supermarket carrier bag handle on the top type thing, which some speakers seem to opt for nowadays. Like the handle that was on the JBL Charge 6 was awful. Just looked really cheap and really tacky. So the shoulder strap, I do prefer that look here, but obviously that's all opinion. Bluetooth version is 5.3. I don't think it's actually technically the newest. I think 5.4 is the kind of the newest at the moment, but realistically you're probably not going to notice much difference. Frequency response is very impressive on this, actually. 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So the 20 kilohertz is very standard, but 20 hertz is very, very low. I'm not sure whether you'd expect to see that in maybe like alt mode 1 or 2, or kind of you know, without it on. I'm not quite sure if you'd expect to see that all the time, but that's very low on the bass side. So maybe that's where the kind of X-balanced woofer is coming in and giving us some more bass there, because that's very impressive. As for I/O, we've got an aux and a USB-C port on the back. It's really nice to have an aux. Not everything does nowadays, to be honest. 90% of stuff doesn't. So it's nice that we've got that here, which is an added benefit if you want to use it with a TV or an Xbox or a monitor or PC, a laptop, anything really. You know, it's nice to just be able to have the functionality to plug it in and it to become a kind of desktop speaker for the day if you need it to, which I find myself needing really often actually. So it's great to have that. Battery wise, it's got 25-hour playtime, which is very nice, and USB-C charging, so it will charge a 10-minute charge will give it 100 minutes of playtime. So yeah, batteries are something that's really strong in the last year or so. We've seen a massive improvement in that. But yeah, 10-minute charge for 100 minutes of playtime is very good. Obviously that's going to be around 50% volume, so if you're playing at 100, then do expect that kind of battery life to, you know, drop by like 60%, but still a very impressive benchmark there. As for water resistance, we've got IP67, so pretty much as good as it gets. You know, you can take this thing wherever you want. Yeah, this one came in white, but yeah, really nice kind of premium speaker. It definitely feels rugged as well. Like, it looks nice. It's not something that I'd want to get very dirty or anything like that, because you'd feel bad for it, but it is a really nice looking speaker, and all the materials are very premium, but also quite solid and rugged for outdoor use. It does quite a good job at being rugged, but not necessarily looking it, almost. So I quite like that. I do quite like the lights on this as well. You've got lights inside the kind of passive radiators on the side, but also you can see them come through the front, so that's really nice to have that. I always really like having, even if it's just a little bit of kind of lights on the side or on the top of the speaker. I think it just adds a bit of character and adds a bit of flair to it, if you see what I mean. But yeah, let's do the sound test. Obviously we'll have the frequency range chart on the left, which will be very interesting because I do want to see if we hit 20 hertz. and I'll get that decibel meter kind of just in the middle somewhere like that, so you can vaguely see it. But yeah, we'll be playing Royalty at 80% volume, so we'll see what it's like. Okay, so sound test over. So decibel wise, we were seeing, obviously when it was kind of 20 centimeters in front of it, we're seeing like 106 max, quite loud, obviously. From a speaker of this size especially, when it was kind of sitting to the left slightly behind it, we were seeing about 100 peak. But yeah, really, really loud, like much louder than you'd expect it to be. About halfway through the song, I changed it from alt mode 1 to alt mode 2. And they do have a similar description to the JBL bass boost modes, in that the mode 1 is kind of like more punchy. Or no, sorry, the other way around. The mode 1 is more deep and the mode 2 is more punchy. I mean, some on the JBLs, I find the mode 2 sounds really artificial and it sounds better in mode 1. On the Sony ULT modes, I find that I quite like it in the second punchy version. It does a much better job, frankly, than JBL's one of still sounding premium and not ruining the sound, but just giving you like a lot of extra bass. I think you can hear that. Hopefully it comes across on the video as well. But after I changed it halfway through there, you can hear the difference in the bass. As for frequency response, we're getting the 20 kilohertz on the high end. On the low end, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to say, I suppose. It's definitely impressive. I'm not sure if we're getting 20 hertz, although obviously it is going to depend on the song. That's not a great song to test with, really. It is hard with copyright law, obviously, and stuff like that. I mean, we are getting sound at 20 hertz, that's for sure. Whether you'd hear it much or not is kind of another thing, but the drop off definitely isn't as steep, and the graph doesn't go anywhere near as low as it does on some speakers. And to be honest, irrelevant of what that graph looks like, it sounds incredible. The bass is really deep, really powerful. But like I said, at the same time, it doesn't affect sound quality. It sounds like a much bigger speaker than it actually is. And And yeah, all the way up to 100%. There's no distortion in the bass or just the sound itself. And yeah, I mean, the sound itself, you can see from that frequency graph as well. It's really, really balanced. Like, you know, like all the way from bass to very high kind of treble. It's all along a kind of flat line. You know, we're not seeing like a massive drop either side. Like, it's very balanced. It's very clean sound. You get quite an accurate representation with Sony speakers of kind of how the artist actually wanted the music to be heard, which is obviously nice. The lights are good as well. That I find, you know, there's a couple options in the settings in the app. I normally would show the app, but on the Sony app, there's nothing to it. It's so grim that there's not really much point. There are a couple kind of light settings, but they're nothing too crazy. You do have connect features with this as well, so you can connect it to other speakers from Sony's lineup if you wanted to play them all in sync, which is quite nice. There is just a connect button on top for that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I like how the alt button lights up as well. That's cool. But yeah, overall, a great speaker. 260 is kind of fairly steep for something of this size, but you know, if you consider comparing this to like the Bose SoundLink Max, which probably does sound slightly more premium, but considering it's 130 quid more, £140 more, this is definitely more speaker. It's definitely louder. The light show is nice. The materials are a bit more, well, I didn't like the materials on the Bose one because they're a bit rubbery and just picked up carpet. But I mean, the overall package you're getting here for 260 is really good. Obviously, you can spend similar money and get something like a Tribit Stormbox Blast 2. And yes, you're getting better and more sound for the money. But the build quality is nowhere near as nice. The actual sound quality, if you really dug into it, isn't going to be quite as premium. And obviously it is bigger and heavier. And the lights are very tacky on something like that. But I think, you know, considering it's a big brand, considering the build quality and the overall package you're getting here, this is a really nice speaker. I think for 260 you can't go far wrong if you want a speaker in this price category, or you are in this kind of in this price bracket or in this size. You know, if you want something that you can use outdoors very comfortably, but also bring inside and fill a very decent kind of medium to large room with really nice sound. You know, people will be looking around thinking, what is that coming from? And I guarantee you they'll be surprised when they see it's coming from something as small as this. So really nice speaker, nothing really bad to say about it. It's got everything I think you largely want, aux port as well, which is nice. So it's the complete package. I think Sony have done a really good job on these Field speakers. The Field 7 was really good as well. Obviously a slightly awkward size and kind of form factor, but I think this is going to appeal to much more people along with the Field 3 as well. So yeah, let me know what you think. Are you going to be picking up one of these, or do you want to see me compare it against? Let me know.